girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easily pretty. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is getting tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only come for the secret outside. Because I want you to lie. That the only reason I can do tonight is because I really like you. And I can know hide it. What do remember your mind then? The nicest the girls will get tired. Why just tell me that you feel like I do?
Hi, this is Jessica Javens Talk, and this is a podcast that helps you transform your life inside out into a life you truly love. Welcome to season one. In today's episode, I am so happy to bring in a special guest that I have a special connection with, and I've learned so much. And we're going to be discussing how to be uncomfortably comfortable. So, welcome, Jill, to this episode. I'm so happy and thrilled that you accepted our invitation. So, thank you so much. I would love for you to say a little bit about you to our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jessica. Congratulations on season one. I know we're going to be looking back on this like 10 seasons ago and being like, oh, I got to be on season one. But who am I? I'm Jill Pavlov. I'm a copywriter and comedian. So I do all types of copywriting like email marketing, blogs, website copy. I do it through a psychology-driven lens and with the personality pop of a comedian. My company is called Copy Pop. And I also take to the stage wherever and whenever I can, whether it's improv, sketch, or straight stand up. I love having a microphone in my hands.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. That was perfect. Thank you so much. So, Jill, tell me, why did you connect so much, and why do you think this theme is so important about uncomfortably comfortable?
I think because it's one of those things that maybe you don't realize until you're older, first off. So it's like one of those things that I want to educate people about so that they can learn about this and feel the benefits earlier on. But a lot of us are really afraid to take risks and step outside of our comfort zone because where we are feels really comfortable. And that's totally fine if you have goals that are different. But if your goals are big, and most people who are entrepreneurs, our goals are huge, you have to get comfortable with taking risks because this isn't a safe bet. Everything that we do every single day, we're taking a bet on ourselves, on our companies, on our brands, on the people that work for us. We're taking those bets. So you have to get comfortable with being just a little uncomfy.
Absolutely. And there's probably no growth without being uncomfortable, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, when we're put to tests and different challenges, that's how we grow. We don't grow by doing the same thing every day and just staying stagnant. Like that's why every failure, there's something beautiful in every failure. There's like a magic that you can find in everything that you quote unquote do wrong because you're basically just experimenting for the next time, especially in my line of work, marketing, which copywriting falls under that umbrella of marketing. Everything is so experiential. A lot of the stuff, we don't know what works until it's out there and it's either working or not working. And this goes for like giant agencies who handle really big companies. You'll read about it in like the tabloids when a company has a faux pas. That was someone's brilliant idea that they probably did a bunch of research and like did their due diligence on it. But sometimes things just don't click with people. And then you have to do further research to realize why, and then you can do better the next time.
That's it. I love it. Yeah, it's like a feedback, and feedback is a gift. Tell me a little bit about imposter syndrome.
Ugh. Do you know, Jessica, I feel like I have a conversation now at least once a day with a woman who's suffering from imposter syndrome. And not to say that men can't suffer from it. I probably talk to more women than men in a day. But it's so prevalent, and it's scary because I don't want all of us to feel this way. I know so many wonderful, badass women in my life who deserve to feel like they are the productive, amazing, inspiring queens that they are, but they have that little demon inside their heads that tells them that they're not good enough. And like, spoiler alert, I have that little demon too. So, one of the things actually that helped me get over a little bit of imposter syndrome, and I think you have to realize that you'll never fully be over it, first off. Once you accept that that voice is probably going to creep up every now and again because it's really normal, it's a lot easier to not judge yourself for it and to just kind of take it more as a passing thought, because you can control your thoughts. If you have a thought that comes into your head that you don't like, just think of another thought, get that one out of your head. Your perception is your reality, you know? So one of the things that worked for me was hearing that one of my idols, someone who was one of my mentors who I really looked up to, I heard her one day say, I wonder if I'll ever get over imposter syndrome. And I was like, wow, like this badass bitch like has imposter syndrome, and she's one of the most incredible people I know. I'm like, I guess it is really normal. And once I realized that it was normal and everyone had it, then I was like, okay, so it's just kind of like a voice that you have to control and kind of use like a volume machine and just mute that mother effer.
I get what you're saying, Jill. You know, it's funny because I remember a time in my life where I needed help to realize that I was doing that to myself. I didn't realize it. So the first step for me was that I had to notice that I was noticing or paying attention to the negative and having all of this negative self-talk. So it was with a professional help that I was able to start to do an exercise. Actually, I started to write down some thoughts that I was having, and then I realized how I felt later, and I realized that that was a whole circle that was really affecting me. And it was that awareness, I think, that was the first step for me. And then once you at least know that, then I could identify, hey, oops, I just had that thought. That's not good. I need to make a change right now. And then that's when I started to be able to empower myself to change those thoughts, because they become patterns, and it just we keep going in that circle because it's just what we're used to. And it could be anything from our past or things that we created or beliefs. That's why I encourage our listeners to also reevaluate their beliefs, because sometimes they're just stuck in those beliefs, and it's an ancient one that doesn't serve them anymore, you know. So I'm so happy that's something that you have experienced, and that you also are able to help other people with that, because that is so prevalent. And I agree. I speak to more women than men, and I agree with you. That's so common. And
Yes.
I see it sometimes even in my family. You know, I have children, and so I have to be on the alert for that, you know, because we want to be able to help people and not have them just drown into something that it's not real. They have so much more potential than they realize.
Yeah, I love that you said that it's not real, because I think we have to remember that sometimes. Again, your reality is everything that's going on up here. So if you walk into a room like, oh my God, everyone here hates me, I suck so much, well, then that is going to be your reality, because you're probably going to shy away. But if you walked into this room and be like, everyone here is so damn lucky to be in my presence, and people are going to be attracted to you, you're going to show. And look, don't be like cocky about it, obviously that was just me being a little bit silly, but seriously, if you show up with an inner confidence, that attracts people to you. And I wanted to go back to something you said about how thoughts turn into patterns, because that's so important. Something that has really been like critical for me in my whole journey is learning how to reframe my thoughts. And you can do that with imposter syndrome or like whatever you suffer from. A lot of it is about reframing your thoughts. Like, for example, we're talking about getting out of your comfort zone and taking risks. Let's say you come to one of my improv classes and you're scared crapless, right? You could be on your drive there and being like, oh my God, why did I sign up for this? I'm so stupid. I'm going to be so bad at this. I wish I hadn't done it, blah, blah, blah. Or you could be in the mindset of, this is an opportunity for me to grow. And even if I fail, I'm going to learn and grow from it. And no one's judging me, because everyone's so worried about other people judging them that they're not taking the time to judge you. Like, people aren't paying as much attention to you as you think. Like Like people are not watching you and criticizing you. You're not like Beyonce and the paparazzi's coming to get
Right.
you. You know, and that's a good thing, okay? Just trust me. People aren't judging you. So just like get out there and do it.
Yeah, just get out there and do it. And that's what you have to do is take that leap of faith and just trust the process. Because I was actually going to ask you, what if you're still feeling scared? Like, and you gave a very good tip, just do it. And this is a common phrase. A lot of people know that. It's even a slogan. However, people still hold back because they put all of these paradigms, all these beliefs as obstacles, and they think that they can't, or they give excuses. And all it is, it's what they're creating in their mind. Is there
Yeah.
any other tips that you can think of at this moment that might help them to have more of a opportunity or an open mindset where they
Yeah.
can actually not hold back from these opportunities and fall into imposter syndrome?
I feel like sometimes it does take like a light bulb moment. And I don't want to say like rock bottom, like they use an addiction, because this isn't like an addiction, but maybe you have to realize that like if you don't change and you keep staying in the same lane, then nothing changes. That's one of my favorite mantras. Nothing changes if nothing changes, because nothing changes if nothing changes. You don't like where you are in life, change it. If you don't take that risk to change it, you're choosing to stay in it. You do have choices, you do have options in life. And a lot of times, to get out of uncomfortable situations, you have to make uncomfortable choices. I look at all my heroes in life, and none of them ever had a sure bet. None of them were ever going on auditions or going on pitches and being like, oh, yeah, I've got this. They had to hear so many no's before they even heard one yes. And we get so down on ourselves about the no's, and we don't realize how normal the no's are. And it's okay to hear no. Not everyone is for you. You're going to find your yes. If you are someone that believes that you have something to offer to this world, there's a reason that you have that belief. There's a reason that you have that dream. So why wouldn't you do everything in your power to make that happen, even if that means getting out of your comfort zone?
I love
And
that.
that's TED
I
Talk.
love that. No, because that's basically what everybody should be doing because that's the essence. Um, how has your journey helped you? How has it helped you to get where you are today?
Yeah. So actually, at the age of 16, I developed an eating disorder, like unfortunately, so many women in this world do. Um, I didn't get over it quickly. I stayed in it for almost 20 years. So I spent a lot of that time very insecure, very afraid, just basically in all the mindsets that I talked about that you shouldn't go into is really where I was living day in and day out. I wanted to shrink myself. I didn't want to take up any space. I just wanted to like do what was comfortable. I had huge dreams, but I was so afraid of failing at them that I just stayed paralyzed. And that's something that kept me in my eating disorder. It was a way for me to numb out and stay safe because I was too afraid of hearing no's, of not making my dreams. So I think that going through recovery really taught me, you said the phrase perfectly, trust the process. I don't know if I'd ever trusted a process before, to be honest. I don't think that I had the maturity level because I started my addiction so young. But trusting the process of recovery was so powerful, and seeing how a little bit of work every day adds up to something absolutely life changing, that showed me that I can translate it into any area of my life, whether it's like fitness, business, relationships, like cleaning, skincare, whatever it is. A little bit every day, a little bit better every day is what makes great people, exceptional people.
Thank you for sharing that. I can imagine it was not easy, as a lot of our listeners have different struggles that they probably have to go through. And just realizing that even though it took long, for most people's understanding, you didn't give up, and those small steps added up at the end. So you have to just have that consistency and that mindset that you're not giving up no matter what. And it's amazing to see the journey of how you grew and what you're able to do today for yourself and for others. which, by the way, brings me to remembering the workshop that I attended. So after I started following you, I attended to your workshop, and initially, of course, you come. It was for women only, and even though it was women only, you still feel a little awkward. You don't know anybody. You don't know how to start a conversation. And all of them were entrepreneurs. We had a lot of things in common, but you still have that little bit of that anxiety. And then you came and started doing some activities, which put us out of our comfort zone. And incredibly,
Mhm.
it made us feel more comfortable by starting to be uncomfortable. So when you did the activities and the circles and the different things that we had to express about ourselves, that was amazing. And I learned some things. One of my favorites, I'm going to say it here, is changing the but to the and on the sentence when you're talking to somebody. That's been so empowering for me that I absolutely love it. Like every time I see a but in my sentence, I'm like, I should not be using that word. And I already know I have to change it, and it changed completely the way I say things and how my messages send out and how I feel about it. It's so powerful. Little things, little changes, added up makes a big difference. So tell me a little bit about your workshops and your course and training.
Yeah, well, I'll start with the concept of yes and, which is what you were touching on with
Yes.
the and versus but. And it's actually a common thing I'm starting to hear from my workshops is that people are noticing the yes ands and the no buts or the yes buts come up in their life and seeing how it makes a difference every day. Um, yes and is a classic improv game. It's like one of the first ones that you'll ever learn if you take an improv class. And it's just basically about building on other people's ideas or building on your own ideas versus saying, but like, nah, I don't, but let's not do this because, or blah, blah, blah. What would happen if you just kept saying yes and letting that idea grow? We're so quick to like shut down our own ideas, not even other people's ideas. But what if you let it marinate a bit and brainstorm on it? Like you never know what it could become. So that's one of the games we play. And the other games that we play, just like you said, really get people out of their comfort zone. But also, I try to get people to think differently. One of my signature games, Halftime, really shows people the power of being concise with your words. A lot of people put a lot of fluff and filler. And as entrepreneurs, we love to push out a ton of information about what we're doing. But the real way to capture people's attention is to actually use as few words as possible. And that makes a much more meaningful statement because our attention spans are very, very short. So it's little principles of improv that apply to business and really life too that we do within the workshop. And it is really a lot of fun to watch people get outside of their comfort zone because the best part is that everyone remembers how much fun it is to be silly. Because think about it. Now, I don't remember when I was like 1, 2, 3 years old, but I have a feeling that I wasn't thinking about being judged. I have a feeling I was just doing whatever the heck I want, rolling around on the floor, putting toys in my mouth, pulling out hair. I don't know, whatever I was doing. And as we grow up, we start to learn as others judge us, maybe to judge ourselves. And in an improv class, you're not allowed to judge other people. Like that is so against the rules. And so we get to just be so silly and get back to our like childhood selves. And it's magical.
What an experience. And thank you for sharing that with the world. You're the first person that I met that uses improv to help people, to change people, to better their lives, to become their better version. And I fell in love with it. So thank you so much for taking that step and initiative. Um, the the listeners that are here today are probably hearing a lot of what you said for the first time. And I want you to perhaps leave a thought or maybe a tip of something that you want them to leave this episode with for their day or for their week that they can use, that is practical and that is very powerful.
I think power comes in small changes. I think if you expect like something super powerful all at once, you're going to always end up disappointed. So, what I want to leave the audience with is to do one thing today, one small change, one different thing outside your comfort zone. I'll give you an example. For me, I'm very regimented on my schedule. Like if I were driving home from the gym, I wouldn't just randomly stop at a Dunkin' Donuts for like a little treat because that's not on my schedule. It's not on my to-do list. It's not on my planner. But every now and again, I try to challenge myself to just, and this might sound like super type A to some of you, and some of you this might ring really true, but some of you might think I'm a little bit crazy, but just trust that like this is really outside of my comfort zone, to challenge myself to sometimes just veer off the path and like maybe go get a little treat. Like, oh my God, if I were to, God forbid, stop at TJ Maxx one day when I didn't plan to do it, there's a part of my brain that would go nuts. But challenge your brain with, think about how you can do something like that that would put you just a little bit out of your comfort zone, just to show you that nothing really drastic happens when you do it. Nothing bad drastic happens. But over time, good drastic will happen.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, Jill, people want to be able to follow you, to see what you're doing. I love watching what you post on social media because it's so different. It's so out there and inspirational and courageous and beautiful and artistic. It's all of that and more. And I want people to know exactly how they can find you. What's your way of contact? Where can they go to get to you?
Yes, if you want to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Comedy Jill, or look me up on LinkedIn or Facebook, Jill Pavlov. Always happy to have new connections. You cannot underestimate the value of connection, especially when you're getting out of your comfort zone. That's another thing that you can do. Bring a friend with you. It makes uncomfortable things just a little bit more comfortable when you can get out of your comfort zone together.
That's great. Jill has a lot of projects coming up, a lot of exciting things. So you have to follow her so you can see what she's coming up with, and things that you can't even imagine that probably were possible that can help you also. Yeah, to live the life that you love. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just keep saying yes and to my own ideas. So we will be doing like a 4-part virtual improv workshop series. So stay tuned for that. That's on.
Nice. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. So if you're watching this episode, please click the like button, follow me, and subscribe to the channel so you can learn much more about how you can love your life. And on this episode, we had Jill coming. Thank you so much, Jill, for coming. This show is also brought by Forever Living, which is the best aloe vera juice in the world that helped me transform my wellness. And it is produced by I Am Beast Network. This is Jessica Javens Talk, and my name is Jessica Javens.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easy, baby. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only gone for the secret outside because I want you to like it. The only reason I can do